is a collection of his Vanis. This is in Hindi, so I will read the Hindi version first. The title of this Vani, it is Vani number 14, is Charitra Nirnay. तुम्हारा चलन और वचन ही कह देता है तुम कैसे मनुष्य हो, क्या चाहते हो और क्या पा सकते हो. So I translated this in English in my limited capacity, and the title of the Vani will be Character Decision or Character Assertion. And the translation will be, your conduct and your speech usually reveals or ascertains what kind of person you are, what you want, and what you can achieve. Now, this Vani is very short, very precise, and I think it's very self-explanatory. Rajarshida has asked me to elaborate a bit more. So rather than explaining, I thought, I would like to perhaps share my views and, extend it further as to how I see it applied in our day-to-day life, and with few examples. Now, whenever I read Shri Thakur's Vani, I always say, I try to find a practical application of those Vanis in day-to-day life. And, we must try to do that. It is for our personal benefit. Also, I believe it is for, the benefit of the society. This Vani particular is actually about individual character. Even though it has words like speech, conduct, it's all about the character, and therefore the title is Character Assertion. Now, character building, as we know, is at the very core of Sri Thakur's ideology. His whole satsang foundation and mission is about man-making. And time and again, through all different Vanis, he has emphasized on character building. Now, today we live in the world, as we all know, where communication is mainly electronic. It is very fast, probably faster than the speed of sound. We are able to use mobile devices, mobile applications, social media at our disposal. It is all free. We can use Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, all these means, technology means to communicate with each other. And so, it's what seems to be, to me, what seems is the urge to say something is getting more important than actually being able to absorb and respond. So what I mean by that is, I myself, I think we tend to, react rather than response. And, when we react, it leads to another reaction, it leads to another action. It's like a chain reaction, doesn't lead to any meaningful conclusion. But, when we try to respond, the difference between the reaction and response is, in order for us to respond meaningfully, we have to first absorb, then we have to think about it, and then we have to communicate. And that type of discussion, when somebody is responding and not reacting, leads to something meaningful outcome. Okay. Now, in our childhood, our parents always told us, our teachers told us, perhaps the words are more powerful than any weapon, because the words once spoken cannot be taken back. And the words can do a lot more good or a lot more harm than what a weapon can do, because the weapon will only impact, it has a physical impact, but the words have a long lasting impact on somebody's mental composition, their sentiments, their relationships. So in our childhood, we have learned to use the words carefully. Unfortunately, now we are all part of the ecosystem, I think, where we find very convenient to use the words at our disposal, without actually probably thinking the consequences of our words. So I say, sometimes the only difference between a dog barking at us and the man shouting at us is the dog has instincts and the man has a bit of analytical capabilities. The only difference is the language. The dog is only going to say "baw baw," and the man is going to utter words. So that's the only difference. So definitely we don't want to be an animal. When we want to express ourselves, we know we are human beings, and we have a faculty to analyze and express our words and thoughts in such a manner that they lead to a meaningful and constructive outcome. Now, interestingly, most of us who are in the professional world, as I said, I want to look at this Vani from different perspective, really. In the professional world, if you Google search the top 10 qualities of leadership, it's no more about technical abilities. You will get things like uh, communication, influence, empathy, gratitude. All these words are about character. This is not about technical skills anymore. Today, the corporate world, as we know, has moved into what we call is an emotional quotient, not IQ. IQ is not anymore that important over EQ, because for a leader, you need to understand the human beings are made up of emotions. And accordingly, as a leader, we have to mold our speech, our conduct, so we are able to actually channelize the human energy. We have successful communication. So in fact, the research now says, and we all men should listen to this, that all the women are better manager than the men, because the research says their emotional quotient is higher than men. So therefore, they are able to very skillfully and efficiently navigate the challenges and successfully get the work done. Now, if you look at this, in the hospitality context, service industry, when you go to a restaurant, what is the first thing you notice? Are you greeted? Is the waiter pointing you to the table? Is waiter serving you nicely? When you go to the flight, when you board in the flight, what is the first thing we notice? Welcome, sir. Or if you find the flight attendant is not even paying attention to you, not showing you the seat, you feel turn off, isn't it? When we go to the doctor or hospital, what is the first thing we notice? Somebody with a smile on their face and says, how are you? We are here to help you. It's all about that speech. It's all about their conduct in the context of their work environment. That is the first thing we notice, isn't it? So this Vani, even though it's very simple, and this is the beauty of Thakur's philosophy, the words are so simple and we find it, so easy to comprehend, but there is a deep meaning and there is always, a deep message in all of those Vanis. So if I extend this further, in today's world and all the young generation, who is on our satsang forum now, when you grow to be a good professional, remember, and we can share this from our experiences, your communication skills, written and verbal, are more important than what you know, because you will be evaluated based on how you communicate clearly. What is your body language? What is your behavioral traits? Do you get angry? Do you get upset? Do you get disturbed? How do you challenge? How do you respond to challenging situations? So, and this is all about the character. Shishi Thakur, at one point has said, your language or your speech is like your clothing you wear. It has to be tidy, clean, presentable, neat, right for the occasion. Such beautifully placed. So this includes the speech as well, right? So my personal example. So when I came to UK and I took this position, a bit of a leadership position in my company, they actually sent me for a training to London for 2 days, and the training was about how to interact with the local, the UK workforce, because I am supposed to manage the local UK workforce. And that gave me a very good perspective, because our speech and our conduct has to be in reference to the context. For example, the managing lifestyle or the work life in the USA is very direct. You perform and you perish, and you have that kind of power to engage with the people. In the UK, I found out it's more about compassion and influence. So you need to understand perspective of everybody you work with. It cannot be just my way or highway. And you need to understand the cultural traits of people that you work with. It will be different in different regions. So that helped me. And it's like, if you want to motivate people, how do you motivate people? First thing is your Vani, your speech, your body language. If I say, Vande Purushottamam, people will look at me thinking, what is he doing? If I say, Vande Purushottamam, people will, he's mad, isn't it? If I say, Vande Purushottamam, now there is a complete meaning to what I'm doing. Vande Purushottamam is I'm surrendering, glorying my Lord, folding my hands. In our Hindu culture, everything is scientific. I'm touching my forehead, between my two eyebrows. It's the center I'm activating. I'm my bend down, so my blood circulation is going down, it's not coming up, it's not a high BP, I'm relaxed. There is all this science behind it. If I don't follow this, I'm not communicating the right message, isn't it? So everything we do, the speech, our conduct, as this is in the Vani, is builds up our character, and it will then reflect, our thoughts, our culture, our values. Now, so when I thought, let me look at few more real examples. All of us know President Dr. Abdul Kalam, the ex-president of India. If you have watched his speech, his interviews at various occasions, one thing that he kept consistently talking about was the education, education, education. He said, education is that tool which will make sure that the humanity is rid of malice of, different kinds. Even people who are poor, education is the only tool to empower everybody. Now, no wonder Dr. Kalam was able to actually, translate India's educational power into science and technology achievements, right? See how this works. The man believes in education. His speech is about education. His conduct is about education, and his achievements are far greater. Now, if we look at, if you studied a bit of history, who said, "Tum mujhe khoon do, main tumhe azadi dunga. Give me a blood, I'll give you freedom." It was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. His words are so passionate. His conduct is a soldier, is a leader, his achievement, getting the freedom for India, right? Hanumanji, we always talk about Hanumanji, the most revered and the highest devotee of Lord Rama. What was Hanumanji's core strength? What did Hanumanji do? Every time Lord Rama would say something, Hanumanji would say, "Prabhu jaise aapki ichha," my Lord, as you desire. His whole mission of his life was to fulfill his Lord's wish. And with that single perspective, with that single goal, every situation, when you read the Ramayana, you see that the speech that Hanumanji has done in different occasions, his conduct, led to achieving, successful outcomes in his life. Why? Because he was surrendered to Lord Rama. This is a different perspective. The speech, the conduct, the character somehow is so molded that his whole goal is to serve Lord Rama, and then he's achieved, significant things. Now, another example, King Ashoka. So King Ashoka, before he actually turned to Buddhism, the famous, war of Kalinga, where he actually won the war, but when he saw so much destruction, death, curse, grief, he realized the futility of his victory, and he turned to Buddhism as the, at that time, as the way of life to feel more at peace, get the security and sanctity. And so if you study Lord Ashoka, King Ashoka, prior to his Buddhism, is full of bloodbath. If you study his life after Buddhism, his speech, his words, his conduct, his deeds, his establishment of Lord Buddha's temples has achieved significant peace and prosperity for almost like 50 years, half of a decade for that region. There is a, one interesting example from Mahabharata. We all know Ashwatthama, right? And Guru Drona. And it was so difficult for the Pandavas to win the war without actually having, eliminated Guru Dronacharya. So Krishna, who was very cunning, and cunning in that sense, he was able to mold person's speech and conduct and overall character in such a fashion which would lead to a desirable outcome. Okay, so there was a plot made that somebody would make a rumor that Ashwatthama is killed. Now, Ashwatthama is a son of Guru Dronacharya. And Krishna knew that Guru Dronacharya is very close to Ashwatthama. When somebody says Ashwatthama, the only thing that Dronacharya can think is his son, nothing more. The whole character of Guru Dronacharya is around Ashwatthama. So there is a rumor floated, Ashwatthama is killed, Ashwatthama is killed. And then Guru Dronacharya, he knows that whether this is a true or not, there is only way to find out is ask Yudhishthir, who is supposed to be the person who has never spoken any lie in his life. So Guru Dronacharya asks Yudhishthir, is Ashwatthama killed? And Krishna has already told Yudhishthir, because Yudhishthir said, I will not lie, no matter what. I will not lie. So Krishna told him, look, we have to establish the kingdom of truthfulness. And the only way to do this, if we can, get rid of Guru Dronacharya. You don't have to lie. You can only say, I don't know whether it is the elephant or it's a person. Now, Yudhishthira, for the sake of that, one argument, which said, no, we have to win this war at any cost. First time in his life, and that is the first and the last half lie or half truth is called in the history. He said, Ashwatthama hatattaha narova kunjarova, meaning Ashwatthama is killed. I don't know whether it's elephant or man. Krishna made such a situation that he told all his soldiers, you blow the conch loud, very loud, so that Guru Drona will only hear half part. So Guru Drona only heard man, he didn't hear elephant. As soon as he heard that, he thought, oh, it's my son, he's dead. Let down his weapons, rest is history, Pandavas won the war. Here is a bit of different example I find where somebody's speech and conduct and character is actually moderated and molded by the Lord for the good of society. This is a different example. Now, as a disciple of Sri Sri Thakur, and I will conclude this, I would like to put this Vani in that context, right? What we could do. Now, if we follow our own whims and our desires, perhaps our achievement will be only that, in correlation to what my desire is. Right? Now, whether I don't know my achievement is good for myself, my family, or society, I don't know, because I have made the decision already, right? Not even knowing without I have realized my full potential or not. How do I know, right? Now, but if we engage in what we call is Ishtakaj, fulfilling the Ishtakarma, the desire of our Lord, the desire of our ideal, what happens? Suddenly our speech, our conduct, our achievements suddenly are in unison. It's not mine anymore, it's his wish. And that achievement and that success is something we cannot even imagine. I have said this previously in one satsang, all these Sri Mandirs, all the satsang communities that come about, who built them? Not Bill Gates, not the billionaires. It was the common people, the common disciples of Sri Sri Thakur who engaged themselves in only his work, followed the guidance of Acharya Dev, immersed themselves, tan man dhan, their mind, body, soul, their whole life, engaged in that. And these people are like so common people that you would have thought, oh, how come this man was part of building such a great institution and temple? For simple reason, his speech, his conduct, his behavior, his character, his whole character was dedicated for establishment of his Lord. So one can choose to go either path. You can start thinking, I'm going to behave this way, I'm going to conduct myself this way, or you can think, no, the whole purpose of my conduct, my behavior, and my character is to establish my Lord. And when you surrender that, it's that ultimate devotion, isn't it? What Hanumanji did, what Arjuna did, it's that ultimate devotion that will get you, to achieve bigger things and success in life. Now, if we listen to, Pujapad Acharya Dev, our Acharya Dev, listen to him, if we watch his conduct, is full reflection of Sri Sri Thakur's ideology and his vision. That's all he understands. That's all he thinks. That's all he breathes. That's all he does in his life. He's like a living example for us. Now, so when I look at this Vani and I put my personal experiences together, what I have found is this. If I want to be a good husband, if I want to be a good son, a good father, a good friend, my speech, my conduct, my character has to be accordingly in that fashion. But I struggle to do that because I'm a very common person. I have my complexes. What I have found that works for me is the meditation. And you know why it works? Because I think meditation is that very powerful yet very relaxing tool and process we have, which opens up our subconscious mind. It helps us to understand the cause and effect relationship. It puts everything in clarity, in perspective. So when you understand the cause and relationship, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your health, whether it's your conduct, this is what Shishi Thakur has called as Tattva Bodha, the Karma Yoga of Gita. What is Tattva Bodh? Is to understand cause and relationship. Once I understand cause and relationship, obviously I am able to, mold my behavior and my action accordingly. So I just want to conclude by saying this. Look, anybody can be a good orator. Okay? Anybody can do a good jajan. But Shishi Thakur said, look, just if your only measure of successful jajan is your ability to serve other people, your attitude towards them, the love that you can express and share with the other person, that itself, Shishi Thakur says, is a jajan. No matter how many words you speak or you dance up and down in kirtan, Shishi Thakur says, it's a sign of superficial emotions, but your actions and your service is the real measure of a jajan. So all we need to do, I think, is if I have to live this Vani, if I have to practice this Vani, and if I have to bring myself to the level that Shishi Thakur expects us as a character, meditation is what I would do. I would engage in his work, and I would do my anything possible, do or die. Pujapa Sripaida once said to me, Yogesh, follow Swasthani fanatically. Fanatically as in, no matter what, even if I die, I won't give this up. That's how I have learned. If we do that, then all the Vanis we are able to practice in our life. So this is my view and perspective of today's Vani. Thanks for listening. I hope it gives you some helpful help pointers and some help in understanding this thing. Jai Guru.